Sensing some energy in his surroundings, Leon thought to himself that it was just as he expected. This place lacked that particular energy. He then directed his thoughts towards someone named Demra, asking if they were well. Somewhere far away, a girl in green clothes looked back and smiled faintly. Upon arriving at the location of the dungeon gate, someone questioned Hunter Lee Yongwon about the situation. Lee Yongwon, the S-rank hunter and the guild master of the Phoenix Guild, recognized Section Chief Kim and the rookie Han Hari. Kim seethed with anger, realizing that Lee Yongwon had deliberately allowed the dungeon break to happen as retaliation for their rejected request. The Phoenix Guild had been persistently seeking tax exemption for the profits obtained from gates. They had already gained significant benefits from the byproducts such as magic crystals and monster materials, but they desired exemption from the 1 trillion tax. Frustrated, Kim understood that the guild's actions were a direct response to their request being turned down. But Hari was determined and urged Hunter Lee Yongwon to close the gate immediately. She emphasized that leaving it open for even 1 week would have dire consequences. However, Lee Yongwon nonchalantly acknowledged the urgency but claimed that his guild members were gravely injured, making it difficult to launch a raid in their current state. He said that they can try to do it by tomorrow but expressed uncertainty about what would happen by that time. Hari was enraged and shouted at Lee Yongwon, questioning his lack of patriotism. Kim tried to intervene, but Hari continued, highlighting the potential devastation if the Hanam Plains became infected. Lee Yongwon, with an evil smirk, dismissed her concerns, stating that he didn't know what she was talking about and mocked her for being childish. He reminded Hari that he had mentioned this in the previous year's draft. Hari realized at that moment that in this world, justice equated to money and power. Just as tensions escalated between Hari, Kim, and Lee Yongwon, Leon intervened, expressing his disdain for Lee Yongwon's shallow and old-fashioned mindset. Hari turned back in surprise, addressing him as Leon, Your Majesty. However, Leon quickly reprimanded her, instructing her to refer to him by his title alone. Lee Yongwon was taken aback by Leon's words and inquired about his identity, noting his Western appearance. However, Leon silenced him, expressing his anger and questioning how dare a person as lowly as he speak. Lee Yongwon, one of the 20 S-rank hunters in the world and the guild master of a top 10 guild, was shocked and infuriated by Leon's words, questioning how he could dare to call him lowly. In a display of his power, Lee Yongwon began gathering fire in his hand, ready to attack. However, Hari pleaded for him to stop, revealing that Leon was a survivor. This revelation surprised Lee Yongwon, and his attitude swiftly changed as he humbly introduced himself as Lee Yongwon from the Phoenix Guild. He speculated that Leon may have come from the gray-colored guild. But before Lee Yongwon could continue, Leon interrupted him, stating that a king does not repeat himself. He then turned to Kim and Hari, urging them to provide a concise summary of the problem, as he was unfamiliar with the details of the gate. Both Hari and Kim couldn't help but feel a glimmer of hope, their faces lighting up with smiles, wondering if Leon was going to offer his assistance. Hari explained to Leon that the problem was a dungeon break, which resulted in the release of a large amount of demonic energy that infected the land. As a result, crops couldn't grow on the infected land. The Hanam Plains, being an essential granary, made the situation critical. Hari emphasized the need to purify the infection. Leon inquired about the solution to the problem, and Hari responded that they needed to clear the dungeon and eliminate it entirely. Leon understood the nature of the problem, an infected land and the growth of the gate. He decided to take action personally, but he noted that as a foreign king, he couldn't engage in military activities in another nation's territory without permission. He insisted on receiving approval from the nation's king before proceeding. Hari mentioned that it wasn't necessary, but Leon reminded her that there were legitimate processes and rules to follow. He questioned her commitment to being an honorable knight if she didn't abide by the laws of her own nation. Meanwhile, Lee Yongwon observed Leon in shock, realizing that Leon's approach was even more audacious than his own. Eventually, they decided to seek permission from the president. The president, who was aboard a plane, received a call regarding the urgent matter. Hari approached Leon with a doll in her hand and addressed him as Your Majesty. She reported that she had made the preparations as instructed, but she questioned how they were planning to use the doll. Leon responded, stating that they needed to purify the infected land using the straw doll. The conditions given by Leon were that he needed a straw doll, and it had to be made by a woman who had given birth. Leon looked at a group of women and asked if they were the wives who made the dolls. Hari responded in confirmation. Leon expressed his approval and requested to see the dolls that were made. Unexpectedly, a doll-making competition began in the middle of the plains. Leon examined one of the dolls with a serious expression and then looked at the woman who had made it. He deemed it impossible and proceeded to destroy the doll, criticizing it as a metaphysical eccentric body. The result was a failure. Leon was filled with frustration as he destroyed yet another door and expressed his disappointment with the results. Each attempt with the dolls ended in failure as he threw them away one by one. He destroyed Hari's doll and berated her for not fulfilling the condition of having given birth. However, among the participants, the 89th woman, an old married woman, caught Leon's attention. As he looked at her doll, he exclaimed in amazement, recognizing its quality. He asked her how many children she had given birth to, and she proudly replied, 12. Leon praised her as a living patriot, acknowledging the significance of her role in bringing life into the world. He kissed her hand and expressed his regret for not being able to personally reward her with a medal and gift due to the situation at hand. The old grandma responded with a joyful laugh, seemingly content with the recognition she received. Leon then walked towards the fields and placed the doll on a wooden table surrounded by candles. He declared that the conditions had been met. He then took out an antique cup from his inventory. As he placed the cup on the wooden table, he called out to the mother of this abundant land. Leon then offered the doll of harvest and asked for it to be received. To everyone's surprise, as he placed the empty cup on the table, it started to fill up with water on its own. The water overflowed from the glass and began to float in mid-air. The scene was like the rising sun casting red light on the clouds, signaling the start of a new day. However, the sun rising today would be a special start to this world. The floating water droplets entered the doll, causing astonishment among the onlookers. Suddenly, the doll stood on its own. Then, a voice spoke, addressing Leon as Lionheart, and he bowed respectfully and greeted the Mother Earth, Demira, the god of life and abundance. Demira acknowledged Leon's greeting and said that it had been a while since their last encounter. That was the day divinity descended upon this land. Leon greeted the great Earth Mother, Demira, the divine being governing life and fertility. Demira sensed that this land was also being invaded by evil, and had been contaminated as a result. Leon acknowledged her words and added that there was no divinity here, so he was afraid that lowly and vulgar swine would sully her eyes. Demira mentioned that ignorance and greed are inherent characteristics of mortals that cannot always be judged as sins. She inquired about Leon's plans in response to the situation. After contemplating for a moment, Leon stated that it was not difficult for him to blend in among swordsmen, but he believed that the authority of a conqueror was divine. He intended to establish a balance between duty and authority, teaching the ignorant and guiding them toward the right path. His goal was to pave the way for a new pantheon to arise on the earth. Demira sensed Leon's determination and asked if he had a favor to ask of her, as she and her divine counterparts were always ready to assist. In response, Leon expressed his concern for the suffering of the free citizens of the earth due to the presence of evil energy. He acknowledged that it might not align with Demira's desires, but he requested her to heal and purify the land, seeking her assistance in bringing relief to the afflicted. Demira, in response to Leon's request, affirmed that he was her temple's head and their champion. She declared her intention to spread her divinity and substitute the thirsty earth with her flesh so that everything that walked on this earth would become his ally. As Demira used her divinity on the land, it began to glow with a golden light, captivating the attention of everyone present. Leon turned back to them and confidently proclaimed that they should watch and learn. He criticized their ignorance and inability to comprehend the blessings of divinity. He emphasized the importance of giving birth and prospering as the righteous duty of all living beings. The fertile earth was proof of an eternal promise. In contrast to the hopeful atmosphere, Li Yongwen expressed frustration and tried to warn the others about the potential danger of crops grown using magic. He claimed that they could be poisonous. However, Leon dismissed his concerns, considering them to be the words of an ignorant fool. Leon asserted that the crops were blessed with divinity, and admonished Li Yongwen for judging them as poisonous. Leon warned him not to tarnish the goddess with his disrespectful words. As Li Yongwen became increasingly frustrated by the turn of events, he was determined not to let his plans be ruined by Leon. He thought of exposing what he believed were Leon's blatant lies. He said that they still needed to prove if the crop was safe, for the sake of the people who would consume the crops. Li Yongwen requested cooperation and pointed to one of his teammates, offering him as an appraiser. The appointed appraiser stepped forward and began examining the crops. However, his initial shock and subsequent sweating indicated that something unexpected had been revealed. The appraiser exclaimed in astonishment as he read out the crop's information. It was revealed to be blessed rice, a rare ranked crop blessed by the divinity of Demira, the goddess of life and fertility. The appraiser further disclosed that consuming this rice had the potential to cure Tier 3 diseases and even cancer. Hari and the others were amazed by this revelation, and the appraiser confirmed that it was indeed true. Kim immediately requested someone to bring a pot from the chief's house to prepare and cook the rice. After the blessed rice was cooked, Kim took a bite and was amazed by the effects. A system notification appeared, indicating that consuming the rice made from the blessed rice plant would increase stamina recovery rate by 100 per minute, and mana recovery rate by 50 per minute for a total of 8 hours. Kim realized that this rice was essentially a powerful enhancer, comparable to a reinforcer item worth 3 million won per bottle. Hari returned excitedly and urgently called out to Kim, sharing that she had discovered something significant. Kim advised her to finish chewing before speaking. Once Hari swallowed her food, she revealed that she had eaten a bug out of curiosity, and unexpectedly received a buff. Everyone was shocked by this revelation and looked at Hari in disbelief. Kim pondered the implications of the blessings being present all over the land and realized that if all living beings were also blessed, it would explain the buff Hari had received. Kim then issued an order to gather as many bugs as possible, declaring that they would enter the gate with full buffs. The motivation of the Hunter Association's raiding team soared upon hearing this news, and they started catching bugs around the fields. Demira called out to Leon, addressing him as a child. Leon respectfully acknowledged her call. Demira indicated that she had fulfilled her purpose in this place and expressed her intention to depart. Leon humbly bowed and expressed his gratitude, assuring Demira that he would never forget the divine love she had bestowed upon them. Demira then imparted one final lecture, advising Leon to feed himself. The doll, which had been standing, descended back onto the wooden board. Hari approached Leon with curiosity and asked about the situation. Leon anticipated her question and replied, stating that it was divine power at work. Leon then inquired whether there was no god in their world, to which Hari expressed uncertainty. Leon emphasized that a proper life and world were built with divine power, urging the people of Earth to remember this. Finally, Leon declared that now that the soldiers were replenished, they would proceed to the gate, ready for the upcoming mission. Li Yongwen's teammate expressed concern about their plan, questioning whether it would be successful. Fueled by anger and frustration, Li Yongwen cursed Leon, who had disrupted their plans, and wondered where he had come from. If it weren't for Leon, the government wouldn't have had a choice but to listen to their request. He wished for Leon's death inside the gate. Suddenly, an idea sparked in Li Yongwen's mind, causing him to laugh cunningly. When his teammate tried to inquire further, Li Yongwen reassured him that there was no need to worry and mentioned that the gate they were about to enter had already been partially raided. His teammate recalled the difficulties they faced in the middle of the gate, but before they could elaborate, they realized something alarming. Li Yongwen, with an evil grin, revealed that there was only one rank hunter, Han Hari, among them. He speculated that Leon was likely a blessing-type buffer with limited combat skills, believing that he would be ineffective in combat, which implied that their mission would fail, as there was a monster inside the gate that could not be defeated using ordinary means.
It's the end of this video. What? Like and subscribe for more videos.